White Rick 85 here. I got a couple requests over the last month asking me what I take with me out in the field when I'm deer hunting. I apologize for not getting to it sooner. Just putting a few things away as far as deer hunting, cleaning some things out, cleaning some tubs that I keep some of my equipment in. And it kind of reminded me that I did get a couple private messages asking me what I take along. And this is really more for the younger guys and girls that are getting into deer hunting for the first time. I know when I got into it, my father really wasn't a deer hunter. He wasn't a hunter at all. He really didn't have any firearms. It was really my uncle that took me hunting for the first time and really kind of introduced me, but really didn't tell me what to take along, what's important, what's not important, what's in the bag, what's dead weight. So I thought for some of you younger guys, again, that are just getting into it, maybe have gone out for the first one or two times this year and really want to know, hey, what do you take along with you? Well, here it is. And again, here's the bag that I use. It has really 4 or 5 spots where you can put some things. Pretty old. Let me pop in a picture here of me in a tree stand. I think this is from the late 90s. You can see I have this same bag here, and I've been using it for a very long time. This is one of those things I found it worked for me, so I kept it, and I didn't replace it, or I didn't feel the need for it. Really, has one big container itself here in the center. It has a little piece, maybe you can put a map in there. Sometimes I put some wash and dries in here. What do I got in there? A couple twist ties for actually attaching a license onto a deer's ear. Has a smaller compartment here in the front. Has something for a drink. Actually, we'll get into that in a little bit. And a little clear bag, or a clear mesh compartment over here. So let's get started. First thing, again, let's take a look at the smaller compartment here. And this one comes out all the way. Just got a spare set of gloves. These are the furry type. They're nice when it's cool but not completely cold. One thing I found out about these gloves this year, actually, and you learn something new every year, is I was trying to flip the tang safety off of the Savage, and it was a little bit slippery. So I kind of went towards the rest of the year. I went towards more of these are actually mechanics gloves, but more of the shooting gloves with the a little bit positive grip on there. And you can see these have a little bit of white on them, which I don't particularly like. I don't like flashing my hand white or with some white on there. So I'm going to replace these, whether I'm going to get some tactical type gloves, thinner type gloves, or just the mechanics glove that are in the camouflage now. What I use that in is conjunction with, and these are the hand warmers that go around your waist. Stand up here, as you can see, goes around the waist as a belt, and you slip your hands in here. Has a spot for a hand warmer to go in there. So even if it's in the low 20s, these gloves will keep you nice and warm as long as you keep them into the warmer itself. This one is actually a light weather one that I have, and then I have one that's actually, I forget where I got this, Gander Mountain. Looks like it's a Field and Stream as far as the brand goes. This one is a lot heavier and a lot thicker, and this one can go down to 0 degrees really, and it has a spot for 2 hand warmers, one on each side, as you can see right here. So you take a hand warmer, go ahead and put it in there, and that's why a very thin positive feel glove is really the way I'm going. As far as the hand warmer type muff, I really like that, and I think it's if you haven't tried that, go ahead and take a look for that, because that's a good way to go. Got a little bit sidetracked on the bag itself here, but in here I have my license. I have my Delaware license and my Pennsylvania license. You no longer have to display those in the middle of the back like you did for all those years, so I keep them in there, and this is a spot that you can hook your keys onto. And I also keep my licenses on here so they don't for somehow get away from me. So I do have my license in here. I keep myself a little bit of, this is duct tape, camouflage duct tape. That's come in handy every once in a while. You get up in that stand and you have a little bit of a squeaky spot, and sometimes you just rip a little piece of this duct tape off, get it in there, and it takes that squeak away. So I always carry this real small piece of duct tape with me. It's probably not more than maybe 3 feet on here at the most, but I keep that with me. Always have a couple chapsticks. This one I think is back from it might even be from the 80s or so, but always keep a chapstick with you because that can really ruin your day as far as getting windburn. And here's one of those screws that you can put into a tree, screw that into a tree, and you can either hang your bag on it, or this is actually for your sling on your firearm, so you can go ahead and use that. So I usually have one of those in there. Sometimes I carry 2 of these actually. Have a pencil in there so I can fill out the tag. Actually, I have a pen, what I normally use, but I just usually keep a pencil just in case. So I do have a pen that I use to fill out the tag. And then last thing is some type of energy drink. I don't recommend that you just down the energy drink and go. And I usually, when I do this, I usually go drink a little bit and then maybe see how I feel, drink a little bit more, see how I feel, and maybe finish it off. So some of these drinks, if it's real high caffeine, you're trying to sit still in a stand. Yes, you're staying awake, but you're moving all around because the caffeine's got you going a little bit. So I do recommend taking the energy type shots with you, but I don't recommend downing everything at once unless it's maybe the last hour of the day, or you're really getting tired, you're falling asleep, and you took a little bit and it doesn't do anything for you. So I do carry that with me. Also carry some food. Of course, these are the old Pop-Tarts. This is just a tradition more than anything else. Sometimes I'll take, these are the Larbars. So this is the Uber. These are the Nut Bars, Cherry Cobbler. I'll take some of these food-wise. And a lot of guys take the peanut butter crackers with them. So I'll have some of these. I don't have these boxes open. Well, this one I do. But these I'll usually just keep in my bag, or maybe the jacket pocket. And as you can hear the rattling. I'll take these and I'll actually open them up and put them in plastic bags, especially if I'm going to be there all day. But if you open the bag up, it doesn't make as much noise as trying to get this off. And you know how much noise this makes in the woods. So just a little tip maybe for you. Take these out of the bags, put them in some plastic bags. I think I have some in my case here, do I? And here they are right here. Yep, here they are right here. It's just some plastic bags. I'll take these and I'll empty maybe I'll put, instead of putting just 1 pack in, I'll put 2 packs in, so I know I have enough for the day. Go ahead and again put a tie on the top, and you're all set. So I've been doing this for a long time, and I know it saves a lot as far as noise in the woods. Let's put these back. Put our food out here on the side. So that's really what I keep in the first pocket. I'll put the my chapsticks back and the zip that back up again. If you're going to be out there all day, this is what I use this for. So always have, if I'm going to stay in a stand, especially an elevated stand, don't like going off the side of the stand. I've never done that. So keep this emptied, of course, at the end of the day. If you're going to be in there for a few hours, you never know. You're drinking a lot of coffee in the morning, all of a sudden, an hour later, it hits you, and you don't want to be spraying coffee-scented urine all over the place. So I usually keep that with me, and that keeps you comfortable and keeps you from moving around. So anything that you can do that, again, that's the way to go. Again, here on the side pocket, I have a couple of the scent bombs. These are the Tinks that I have in there, and usually I'm out this year because I've used it all, but usually I'll have some doe urine or or some mock scrape or something that I keep in there. Again, the strong scented liquids that you don't want certainly getting all over your clothes. So let's go into the big compartment. And again, it really depends on how long you're going to be out. Are you going to do all day in the stand, sunrise to sunset? I've done that many, many, many times, and I'm glad I had extra in the pack. If I'm going from, say, sunrise to 9:30, 10 o'clock, I might not have quite as much in there because I don't need as much, but that really depends on you. Here I just happen to have my my orange hat. Normally I'll have a regular type baseball cap on, and this way I always know I have my orange hat with me. This is a nice heavy one, insulated. That's actually Thinsulate with the ears that come down. I usually have that with me. This is another orange vest, but this sometimes dependent on where I'm at and if it's private land or public land. When you put this on, especially a lot of the guys, and I do now, I have the camouflage jacket, I have the orange vest on, but I put this on, and this is big camo on your back, so really on your back there's not a lot of orange showing. So this is a small one. I'll actually take this and fasten it around the bag, and that way your back is still has the orange showing, and it's not being covered up with the brown camo. And again, this on your back, it kind of looks pretty large. So this is just a little bit of a safety feature. This is one of those real light vests. As you can see, balls up into nothing at all. I can stick it right in my hat here, and there's nothing whatsoever in there. Let's keep going down. Here's a couple of neck warmer type face masks that I keep in there. So I can get that to about here as far as being covered around the neck. Normally I'll keep an extra hat in there. This is a wool or a knit hat. It's reversible, orange on the one side, brown on the other. So if you have the baseball cap, and I'll keep the baseball type cap on because I like the visor for the sun, so I have that. But if it's really cold, just take your knit cap and just go ahead and put it right over the top. So that's quite an extra protection over the top. You can kind of pull that down up over your ears, and in conjunction with, and hopefully my hair didn't get messed up, conjunction with a couple of these neck warmers you have, really keeps that face and neck warm. Again, this is another one, just a little bit heavier, so I keep a couple of those in there. Do have a spare set of gloves, and again, I always seem to have a couple extra gloves, because if you're in a tree stand, especially a climber, you take your glove off to maybe to get something, to look at your phone, and what happens? You drop that glove over the side. I've done that, absolutely done that. And what do you do now? You have one hand that has no glove on it whatsoever. It's 25 degrees, and you're freezing. So now, what do? You climb down, you climb back up again. That making all that noise, all the deer in the area have vacated. So usually keep some spares in there, and that's why you see two neck wraps. This, even though it's lightweight, it does help out a lot when it's cooler. And again, this is just a little bit heavier, but again, that's the same reason why I carry two of them in there. Carry the rope so I can pull my pack up, or I can pull my up into a stand. If I climb up to a ladder stand or whatever, I don't have to have the firearm on my shoulder, and use the rope just to go ahead and pull this up. The rope to bring your pack up with. Your deer drag. This I use to drag a deer out of the woods. This orange strap, goes around your shoulder. The rope on there that you see attaches around the front legs and neck, and you can drag a deer out of the woods a little bit easier with one of these than just kind of trying to manhandle and bull it out of the woods. So these come in very handy. Great, of course, when there's snow on the ground, they really slide, or a lot of leaves. I've had this for so long. I can't even remember when I got this. It was a long time ago. Have a grunt call. I think this is a Mad River grunt call. Usually carry one of these with me, and use it occasionally. I'm not a big grunter in the woods, but I do have one. Been carrying it for a pretty long time. It's a spare set of tissues. I think we know what that's for. Have my knife. This is my Browning knife, and this is about all the size you need as far as in the woods. Gutting a deer, don't need anything really bigger than this. At least I don't think you need anything bigger than this. So I usually carry that in my pack. I don't carry that on my belt on there because I've had that clink on a stand before. So I've started carrying that inside the pack, so that helps me to not make any noises. And you know when that clink is going to be. It's always going to be when a deer's around. You turn to look at it, you clink, and it's gone. It's happened to me, so I put the knife inside the bag instead of putting it on my belt itself. Usually carry a towel with me. Inside the towel, have some paper towels, have some like wash and dry types, and a set of gloves that I use. So when you go out and you have to gut your deer, you put your gloves on. You have a towel you can clean up with, wipe your knife off. You have some wash and dries that you can wipe your hands down, so it keeps you nice and clean. Always keep this in the bottom of my pack. It may have some hand warmers, some toe warmers in there. And the last thing, these are the light sticks that kids sometimes use around Halloween, the glow sticks. These are from the dollar store, very cheap. And what do you use these for? Well, it's not flashlight, and again, I usually have a flashlight in there. I took it out for some reason. I don't have it in there, so that is another thing I do have in there. But if you're in the woods and it's the evening time, say you get a deer right around, if it gets dark at 5:30, you get a deer at 5:15, where you shoot at 5:15 and you see some blood, but you don't see the deer and you're going to have to track. Well, you take one of these and you hang it on the tree where you see the blood at. Two reasons why. You can always get back to that point, and if you're with someone and they go to your spot, they know, hey, Rook's over there, let me go see what's going on. They see this hanging in a tree, they know, hey, it looks like he may have shot at one, and this is where he starts. Or if you're in the woods and you see the deer and it's down, you still might want to put this up to let the guys know where you are. Say if they have a four-wheeler, they're going to come in and get you with a four-wheeler. So it just gives them a little bit of a visual sign. And again, these are so cheap. These are $1 for two big ones at the dollar store. So I recommend putting 1 or 2 packs in your bag. And you can always put it where you see the first blood and at the deer itself. Or if you have a couple with, you use it along the way. I know some of the guys, if they have a trail, they may put some tissues in a tree or things like that. That's great during the day, but as far as nighttime wise, this is where these glow sticks really come in handy. And then it helps you get out of the woods. So you start going off in a different direction that you may not be familiar with. You see this glow in the distance, you know you can get back to the spot where you're more familiar with, and you're not going to have an issue about maybe getting turned around or misplaced in the dark. Of course, in that woods at night, I'm sure everybody's been in there. It's very dark, very, I don't want to say scary or anything like that. It's not scary, but it's disorienting. So these light sticks certainly come in handy. So certainly recommend those to you. A couple other things didn't have in there, depending on if I'm going to be out all day. And here's another orange hat, but I use this for a different reason. If I am going to be out all day, and here's my thermos, and this is actually not the one I use a black one so it doesn't shine as much. I don't want a silver one out in the sun, but I use a black one, and I take it when I fill it with coffee. I have a pair of socks, and I'll take this and I'll put it into the socks to help it stay warm. So 9 o'clock or so, or 10 o'clock, when you want to have a nice cup of coffee, you have it in the socks right here. It's a nice wrap around there, and I have it down inside this hat, and it's ready to go, nice and warm. And what else? You have a spare hat with you, and you have a spare pair of socks. So what happens for some reason if you're chasing a deer or whatever, you step in a small creek, goes over the top of your boot, and your socks are all wet. Here you have a spare set of socks you can put on, and what they were doing is they were keeping your coffee nice and warm for you. This is always good to have with you. So spare set of pair of socks and another hat. And in the car, I may have a bag like this. This is just one of those nice bags. I may have something that I don't use very often. Maybe a couple more pairs of gloves for some reason. Some more hand warmers to reload. Say if you're going to be out a 3-4 day hunt, and you can reload with some good hand warmers. Some spare food. I got a couple spare flashlights with me. And again, the flashlight's one of the things that I have in the bag, but I didn't have right down here right now. I don't think it's over on the shelf. I think it's upstairs. But have one of those flashlights that supposedly, and I never used it because I really never had to, but it's supposed to show the blood trail on the ground a little bit better. It's one of those ones that's supposed to highlight the red blood on the ground. So this is a Winchester one. I think I got at Walmart. So I usually keep that in there just in case I need it. And I normally have a couple spare flashlights because either the bulb goes on you or your battery goes on you, even though you just may put new batteries in for some reason. It got hit and the battery drained, and all of a sudden you don't have anything in your flashlight. This year, when hunting a lot down the club, loaned the flashlights out 2 times for guys that forgot their flashlights. So I was just able to go over in the bag, grab one, say, hey, here you go, enjoy it for the morning or the afternoon, and give it back to me when you're done. And so it was great to have some spares with me. That is about it. I'll put a couple of those things back in there. Get this off the desk. I usually carry a couple gallons of water in the car with me too. So you can flush out your deer, you can wash your hands with it. And this year I saw a good idea, and I think I have one around here somewhere, but let me get it. Had a bottle like this. This is Powerade, but he had it was empty, and he had water in there with a little bit of liquid soap. So he did get a deer, and after he finished field dressing it, he was actually able to use this, pour it on his hands, wash his hands really nice, use his towel to dry it, rinse it off, and it was really good. So if you have a spare, everybody has these, so you drink one of them, a teeny bit of dish fluid or hand soap in there, fill the rest up with water. You give it a good shake before you're about to use it, and you have some nice soapy water. Sometimes it's a little bit on the cold side because it's been sitting in the car, but it's certainly better than having that blood all over your hands. So that's another tip for you. Hopefully that's helped. And again, that's most of the things that I carry. I probably forgot something. I may have put something away for the year and I forgot about it already. Occasionally, depending where I am, you might carry a whistle, especially if you were a younger guy or girl. I apologize for always saying guy first and then girl, but carry a whistle, a football type whistle. And if you're lost in the woods, you use that whistle to try to signal somebody at your location. So a couple of safety things in there. Usually carry some type of lighter in there. I don't have one in there, but I do normally carry a lighter for some reason that I'd have to make a fire. I do keep some extra shells in there. Let me see where it is. So from rifle hunting up in PA, I have one of these to hold some extra shells. And as you can see, this holds 6 extra shells. So I'll have one of these, or have a box of, or I'll have a spare box of shotgun shell slugs with me. So that's a couple other things that I keep in there. Let me know if this helped you out, or if there's any questions about that. Glad to answer them. Always glad to answer them. I hope you had a great year hunting, and I apologize that this is a little late, but this will be up forever. So if you don't see it this year, you can see it next year when you're getting ready, and you can say, what do I need to put in my pack? Hopefully you'll come across this video, and this will give you a few tips and hints. So this is White Rook 85, signing out from the Delmarva Peninsula today. Everybody have a good one.